Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and yesterday we took a look at what classes had the most nerf cards. Ranked them in order. It was a lot of fun. If you haven't checked the video out, please do, and well, hit that sub button while you're at it so you don't miss videos like that, because they're just, you know, the most amazing quality content out there. That's why you come here, not for the angry man who likes to rage at a children's card game. But today we will take a look at what expansions contain the most nerfed cards, and well, you will see things escalate quite, well, like ridiculously as we go through historically. But we'll go like we did yesterday from the least to the most. So starting off with BLACKROCK Mountain. It contains 0 nerf cards. BLACKROCK Mountain is the only expansion or adventure to contain 0 nerfed cards, although some would like to argue that Grim Patron was nerfed because, or indirectly because of Warsong Commander, but no, BLACKROCK Mountain, 0 nerfed cards. Next, we have RASTAKHAN'S Rumble, arguably the worst expansion of all time, contains 1 nerfed card in Raiding Party, which went from 3 to 4, and eventually, yeah, they nerfed prep and all sorts of stuff because of this card around it. Very powerful, but overall, RASTAKHAN'S was kind of pretty much a dud, as you can tell by only 1 nerf. It's got to be a bad expansion if it's balanced, right? Next, we have League of Explorers with 1 nerfed card, and that was actually because of a wild thing of down the road, the way they changed mana cost with Naga Sea Witch. It went from 5 to 8 mana, making it more expensive to cheat out giants, but originally it didn't interact that way. And yeah, that's it from League of Explorers. Next, we have Goblins versus Gnomes, and again, only 1 card nerf from this expansion, and that was Shadow Boxer. When Lifesteal was introduced into the game, they didn't want it to be able to proc itself, because you gave it lifesteal, then it would just infinitely kill your opponent, do infinite damage. So it's changed to other minions, and well, that wasn't a problem anymore. Next, we have NAXXRAMAS, which has had 1 card nerfed, and that was well, the Undertaker. Pretty prolific card, has been reverted, doesn't see a ton of play in a while, but it sees a little bit like Death Rattle Priest, Death Rattle Demon Hunter. But yeah, overall, NAXXRAMAS only contained 1 nerf card, even though Lotheb has stood the test of time as one of those most powerful cards actually in Hearthstone history. From the core set recently introduced, we have 1 nerfed card, and that's Bloodsail Deckhand, which was actually originally a 2-1 as well. It was buffed then nerfed, but I'm including it because that is a nerf. And yes, so Bloodsail Deckhand, the 1 core set card. Next, we have Karazhan, which had 2 nerfed cards. We're starting to up it up a little bit here with Spirit Claws and Barnes nerfed, and well, one's been reverted in Spirit Claws, Barnes not so much, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. The Old Gods saw 2 cards nerfed with Yogg Saron, as well as Call the Wild, a hunter card that's been since reverted, and so is Yogg. But yes, both were pretty prolific, although Yogg a little bit more iconic, and certainly, I guess, warranted the nerfs. I never got the Call the Wild one, to be honest with you. Witchwood saw only 2 nerfs as well, although kind of indirectly, they're echo cards with Glinda Crowskin and Sound the Bells. I'm not including Baku and Gen, again, because they're Hall of Famed cards, but yes, those 2 echo cards were not directly nerfed, but they were technically nerfed. They got dust refunds, so I'm including them on the list. The most recent expansion, ALTERAC Valley. Again, as of recording this, there may have been announcements since this has gone live, but as recording this, only 2 cards nerfed, with Snowfall Guardian and Iron Deep Trog being the cards to get hit. Next, we have the Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, where we have 3 cards nerfed total, with Patches the Pirate, Raza, as well as Small Time Buccaneer, the card that actually made me quit Hearthstone for a couple of weeks. And that's the only time I've quit since I started playing, but man, that card drove me absolutely crazy. We also have the Grand Tournament, which surprisingly had 3 cards nerfed, with Aviana being 1, Tuskar Totemic, as well as Dreadsteed, but this one was more of just a quality of life change because of Defile, but technically Dreadsteed was nerfed. Next, we have Saviors of Uldum, which saw 4 separate cards nerfed, with Dino Tamer Bran, Totoloran Pilgrim, as well as Bloodsworn Mercenary and Mogu Fleshshaper all taking a hit. Next, we have Rise of Shadows, which also had 4 cards nerfed, which introduced my favorite mechanic in the game, Lackeys. Saw Sludge Serper get nerfed, Conjurer's Calling getting nerfed, as well as Evil Miscreant and Archivist Elysiana, although that one was more for like tournament quality of life issues, with pandas getting bounced and just ridiculously long games resulting because of it. Next, we have the Knights of the Frozen Throne with 4 cards nerfed as well, being Leeching Poison, Serenite Chain Gang, Bone Mare, as well as Spreading Plague, every aggro player's favorite card, or probably their biggest nightmare. Next, we have LINGORO, which saw 4 nerfs, although 2 of them are to the same card. Ironically, 2 of them happened way later for Wild, with Bloodbloom and Open the Waygate getting nerfed. And yes, the Rogue Quest, the Crystal Core, Caverns Below, the Crystal Core being the reward, getting nerfed twice, and also indirectly a bunch of times. But yes, LINGORO, that quest was kind of a problem. Next, we have the BOOMSDAY project, which saw 6 cards get nerfed, with Snip Snap, Luna's Pocket Galaxy, Dr. Boom, Mad Genius, Extra Arms, Rexless Experimenter, and Giggling Inventor all getting nerfed. And you'll note that Pocket Galaxy and Extra Arm were actually buffed originally and then nerfed. So yeah, sometimes buffs don't go right, and those were kind of key examples of that. Next, we have the Darkmoon Fair, which saw 6 nerfs, being to Il'gynoth, Hysteria twice, as well as Deck of Lunacy and Dreadlord's Bite for Demon Hunter. Next, we have Kobolds and Catacombs, where it's starting to amp up and it gets a little crazy after this, but with Kobolds and Catacomb, we saw Lesser Emerald Spellstone, Level Up, Call to Arms, Dark Pact, Possessed Lackey, Spiteful Summoner, and well, Corridor Creeper. So 7 total nerfs for that expansion, and things, yeah, get a little bit crazy, because next we have the Demon Hunter Initiate. I'm excluding this from Ashes of Outland, which just has, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but the Demon Hunter Initiate was like a free little set to unlock the Demon Hunter class that saw 7 cards nerfed. And I'm going to stop listing all of the cards for all these things because there's just too many, but some examples being like Twin Slice, Altruist, as well as I-Beam, just being ridiculously good cards that got nerfed. And yeah, we're no longer going to be seeing single digits as we enter United in Stormwind, one of the most recent expansions. And you can see we're the most recent, and it's like near the top of the list. All the other stuff that have been around for years, not even close. In United Stormwind, 11 nerfs total. We saw nerfs to multiple quests in the Demon Seed, Command the Elements, as well as Sorcerer's Gambit, as well as a ton of other busted cards like Battleground Battlemaster, Alliance Bannerman, and just a ton of other cards you could talk about. But yes, 11 total, which is pretty ridiculous. And well, Forge the Barrens, thought to be a pretty dull expansion, well, it included 12 separate nerfs. Some examples being Celestial Alignment, Efficient Octobot. We saw Perpetual Flame, Stealer of Souls, which was banned in Wild, Kolkar Pack Runner, Conviction, and well, a ton of busted cards. And even the Watch Post, we had Far Watch Post and Morshan Watch Post. Remember that? Morshan was nerfed. I haven't seen that card since then. And yeah, Forge the Barrens was like, oh, it was dull and all that. Still saw a dozen cards nerfed. Next, we have Descent of Dragons, arguably one of the more busted expansions, but still only number 4 on the list. 3 on the list. We'll talk about what number 1 is and how you want to order it. But Descent of Dragons saw 14 separate cards nerfed, and there was stuff from like the Galakron Shaman stuff, which is like every invoke card. We saw Dragon Queen Alexstrasza nerfed twice. We saw a bunch of just busted cards nerfed from that expansion, just a crazy one, which included like the Rogue Galakron, Scion of Ruin, Ankar, which used to be a 2/3, just a ridiculous set. And yeah, 14 nerfs, quite a lot, but still not the most. We have another expansion, SCHOLOMANCE Academy, which saw 16 cards nerfed, including twice to Mindrender Lucia, Secret Passage, which used to be 5 cards. That used to be 5. Penflinger, you had Jandis Barov as well, Guardian Animals, the list goes on and on. Even Lorekeeper Polkel was a powerhouse at 4 mana. And there's cards that have not been nerfed from that expansion, like Animated Broomstick and Tour Guide. Some pretty ridiculous stuff that a lot of people could argue. You could argue Secret Passage should be nerfed again, and it still stands as one of the most nerfed expansions at 16. However, Ashes of Outland has a little bit to say about being busted with 26 total nerfs. This was the expansion that introduced Demon Hunter to the game, and that's when things got absolutely crazy with cards like Skull of Gul'dan, Imprison Anton, Kane's Sun Fury being nerfed. There's this, I can't count how many cards from Ashes of Outland that saw Demon Hunter cards got nerfed, but even have recently Morg Artificer getting nerfed. We had Apotheosis, we had Renew, Evocation, Solarian Prime, the list goes on and on. Dark Glare got hit twice, as well as Kael'thas Sunstrider also got nerfed twice. One of the most just ridiculous expansions ever, and 26 nerfs. Like, you combine like half the expansions on my list, it doesn't equate to that number. Absolutely busted. However, not the most number one. If you want to count this as an expansion, it's up to you. And that's classic Hearthstone, where you had the classic set, the basic set, 35 total cards nerfed over the history of Hearthstone, including staples like Innervate, Wild Growth, Nourish. You've got Mana Worms, you've got, I don't know, Leopard Gnomes, Knife Jugglers, Abusive Sergeants, Arcane Golems, Leroy Jenkins, you name it. Even a Hooter, Ironbeak Owl got nerfed back in the day. And well, 35 total nerfs, but that's the classic set, and you would expect that to probably get changed the most. And Ashes of Outland, ridiculous at number 20 with 26 total. And I just thought this would be a lot of fun to go over, so let me know what you guys think. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.